All right. So, good evening and hello, everyone, and welcome to the Success Vitamin Talk with me, Pritha Dubey. I'm a sales professional turned a sales coach and the creator of Success Vitamin. In today's episode, I have a very, very interesting profile as a guest with me. His name is Ash Shukla. Ash is based out of US, and currently he's speaking with us live from US. And the most interesting part about Ash is that he had moved to US when he was, I think I'll leave that story to Ash to talk about it. But Ash is a holistic business consultant. Uh, his specialty lies within helping you build a business that you can sell and have a good life. He runs an online academy called Financial Chakras that helps business owners and entrepreneurs achieve the ultimate balance between business, finance, health, wellness, and spirituality. Interesting, isn't it? So, without wasting much of our time, let me quickly invite and welcome Ash here. Ash, welcome to the Success Vitamin Talk.
Thank you so much, Pritha. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's our pleasure. So, Ash, first and foremost, you have been an immigrant to US, and you have been a success.
Thank you.
So, what I would like to understand from you is that how did you make it? How did you make it? And what drove you? What were those driving forces that, kept you going forward in an unknown world, in an unknown land, and yet you could come out so successfully?
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for asking the question. So, what I have found is that, of course, your desire, right? So when we came here with $20 and I didn't know English, at all, I was studying in Gujarati medium in Gandhinagar, in India. So when I came here, I really did not know any English. I really had a very small understanding of what English was. And so when somebody, when we come here, right, one of the biggest things is that we know we have nothing. Like we have $20 in our pocket. Some people come here with $10 in their pocket, right? Like very little money. So the only thing we have to rely on is our ability to work hard, and we have to completely believe that we're going to make it, right? So
Right.
transpired with me was, since I was a child, I was a naughty child. I was not, I always got in trouble. That was just me.
All right.
Since I was a child, I was the first grandchild in the house and things like that. And but more importantly, you know, um, since I was a child, like I was loved a lot, but at the same time, I was also told as I was growing up when I was in my teen years. Everybody told me, look at your cousin, he's going to be a doctor. Look at this, he's going to be an engineer. And
Usual.
I never had interest in, sorry.
It's usual of our society, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I always, was criticized a lot because of, I have I have this tendency to focus, right? And when I focus on something, zoomed in really fast.
Okay.
But my downfall had been, is that I wasn't able to. I was looking for my passion, right? I was looking for something that I would really like love to just eat it up and have some fun with.
Okay.
So as I was being told, one of the things I knew since I was a child, that I wanted to make something big. Like one of the determinations, my dad had sold everything to come here. He was working at the government job in Gandhinagar.
Hmm.
So making a little bit of money, coming from middle to maybe middle class, if you want to call it that. At I think he was making like 1,500 rupees a month back then, or something like that. Very little money.
Okay. Okay.
So I always had the desire to do something. I had made up my mind since I was a child that I wanted to do something great, something big, something different. than anybody else they have done. And one of the biggest things that has helped me is the thought process. The second thing that helped me was self-help. I got introduced to self-help since I was 94. I mean, I was not 94, but I was 21 in 1994. Yeah, yeah.
That was
I'm
interesting. I was about to ask you, oh my God, what's the secret?
secret is you you by mistake say the year wrong. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I
So,
understand. Yeah.
so since I was 21, in 1994, I was introduced to the self-help, and that's when I
Mhm.
really, I was thankful for that, because that helped me tremendously to help me understand that, okay, the only way I'm going to make this is, slowly but surely. It's not going to be a overnight success. It's not going to be even though as a young child, I wanted overnight success, and, like young blood, I just wanted to make it big, like really fast.
Right,
And
right, right,
over
right.
time you realize that is hard work, dedication, and tenaciousness, and you really have to, keep on going at whatever field you are going in. And
Absolutely.
that's what really, made everything for me. I was managing like $300 million in the financial world, and I helped so many businesses. But I've learned over time that it's a process,
It's a
and you have
process.
to submit to the process.
A very, very valid point. You have to submit to the process. Absolutely. I think your story really is a living example of what you just said. The dedication, hard work that goes behind every success. No one can ever achieve success without these elements being put into it, right? So this is an interesting name that you have given to this academy that you run, Financial Chakras. And I also see a very interesting background, which I believe has to do something with this entire concept of financial chakras, right?
Yes.
So why don't you just tell us a little more about what is this financial chakras?
Yeah, so financial chakras is, until now, chakras have been talked about as the principles of the body. And so what happened with me, Pritha, was that in 2007, I was running my financial services company. So after basically college, I ran into financial services in 1994. And I was not bad, I was pathetic. Couldn't close anybody. I had to blackmail my dad to my mom to close my first sale. And that's how bad it was, right? So as time was going on, and I'm looking at this, and I'm going, okay, I want to make it, right? And so I was prospecting, I was doing things that I had to do to make it. So as time has gone on, I was working with several banks and things like that. Then I started my own company. I was successful with my own company as well. Like first year we did 800,000, second year was 2 million, third year was 3.7 million, fourth year was over 5 million, and fifth year we went over $10 million, right? So I mean, like, pretty
Wow.
decent numbers.
Wow.
But what I discovered during this path is, there was a time where, like, when you're looking at chakras, or when you take a look at energies, obviously, I'm flying high, like I made it, right? I had a ride and that kind of feeling. So, but somebody during this time, like, me having a trained eye for being a financial advisor for 26 years, back then it was, 15, 20 years. So what had happened was somebody scammed me, right? So I lost, a lot of money. But that hurt me, because, I'm very open, I'm very honest, I'm very gullible. I was very naive. I was young. I was a young, successful entrepreneur who was just coming up, and somebody got the better of me. So when that
Okay.
happened, was what happens with me is, when something bad happens to me, I go in. I literally just, I don't cry. I don't talk about it. I don't want to discuss it with anybody. I just want to go in and figure out what happened. So I went within. I got quiet, and then my grandfather was my was my hero. So with my grandfather, I discussed it with him. So he helped me understand that, and since I was born, my mom had a post partum depression. So
Okay.
I was he I grew up with him, right? So as I was he was my hero. He was like my go-to person for everything. So we talked
Okay.
about like yoga, meditation, chakras. We loved talking about philosophy. That was our favorite subject. We loved talking about religion, religions for that matter. That was our
Okay.
another favorite subjects, right? So we had a very good common ground. So I was talking with him, and he talked to me about chakras and stuff like that, and he helped me understand how they function, what really what's going on with me.
All right.
Once he explained it to me, once I understood it, I asked him an interesting question, Pritha. And the question was, I said, so has anybody, once I was clear and I understood what happened and where I
Hmm.
went wrong,
Hmm.
and I said, I never want to have this happen to me ever again. I want to make sure that
Hmm.
I am going to be rock solid from here on out. And this 2007.
Wow.
So I'm talking to him, I'm discussing this with him. And, as I said, has anybody proven how chakras are rules of the universe? And he's like, nobody has ever done that. I
Okay.
said, okay. So, then I said, okay, so maybe I can do that. So I started putting my hat on, a financial hat on, and I said, I got to prove it in quantify it in reality.
All
So I
right.
started putting together, I started making things from each chakra and
Okay.
each energetic center and each emotion. I started taking it, breaking it down, each one, and I started
Wow.
making decisions on each one. And what I found was every time I made a decision, it was either going up or down in terms of
Hmm.
my logical sense or even a physical sense. Right, I was going up and down, and as
Okay.
as this was happening, I came up with a formula. Right, and what I found is that the formula is universal. And what I discovered is that now, I was able to demonstrate how chakras exist not only inside of your body but
Hmm.
outside of your body. Right, I was then I figured out, okay, now I can demonstrate how chakras exist in the financial instruments, or in your like in a cup of coffee, or in a sales conversation, or in a marketing. Pretty much everything that you're doing, it can be applied. What I discovered also is that this formula I have developed, is universal, and it can. I looked at successful people, and they were doing it knowingly or unknowingly. They were
Okay.
doing it. So it's
Okay.
actually financial chakras is like um, a methodology, a mechanism, right, by which you can accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. If you understand the center of your epicenter, right,
Hmm.
who
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
are as a person, and
Hmm.
able
Hmm.
to align yourself with other people. So
Hmm.
that's what financial chakras is, a movement, right? I really want to create a movement between a practical world and the holistic world, and really bridge the gap that has never been bridged. So in reality, like people say, how do you prove chakras are or energies are real, right? So I have this little
Right.
device. I don't know if you have seen this or not before. Have you
All
seen this
right.
before? Have you seen this?
No, no, I
Okay.
haven't. I
All right,
haven't.
great. So this is only on only on this podcast. Okay, this exclusive.
Yes.
Okay, so this, I'm gonna prove it to you.
Just
Energy exists,
let
right?
me, Ash, sorry, I'm just interrupting you there. Let me kind of just take this moment and utilize this moment there, um, and everyone, for the first time, only on the Success Vitamin Talk, are you going to see a practical example of the fact that chakras exist in the real world also. Do not forget and always remember that you first watched it only on the Success Vitamin Talk. I think enough of the drama, so I think you can carry on with that. I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to take this opportunity and do some drama this time.
Absolutely,
We
there's
never
nothing
got
wrong
this
with drama.
opportunity before.
Yeah, and those who are watching, I want to let you know that, look, if you like this, go ahead and give us a like at the bottom. If you love it,
Absolutely.
give us some
Yes.
hearts. We always love some hearts, right? We want to
Please.
let you know we both love you, and we really want to take care of you guys, and we want to help you the best way we can. Okay.
Yes,
um so
absolutely. Guys,
you know
please share all your likes and loves. We need this right now.
yeah.
Let the chakras be with you. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
and the so like from a perspective of energies, right? So most people don't understand that energies are real. So, but the question is, how do you prove it, right? So that's the
Right,
question.
right,
The
yes.
healers and the sadhus and everybody has been talking about energies, but the question
Hmm,
is, how do you prove it? How do you
hmm,
show it
hmm.
in real world? So I said, okay, I have to come up with my financial brain here. That's where it comes in handy. So I have
Sure,
this
sure.
Indian brain and a financial brain and an American brain. It's like a it's messed up actually. So to say the least, I have created a good mess in there. Okay, you know, being here for 30 years. So
Yes, right.
this right here
Yeah.
is a device, right? So basically, this is my secret. So normally, what we would do, Pritha, is that when we are in the room, we would
Huh.
hold hands, right, in a circle. So
Hmm.
this device, everything is a positive and a negative energy, right?
All right.
So what you're gonna find is anything that's live, right? If I make this device and I touch it,
Huh.
someplace like to on this computer, right? It doesn't do
Huh.
anything. If I touch it
Right.
on my glasses, right, it doesn't do anything. Okay, but
Okay.
if I hold this device and if I touch it with my hand, it
Huh.
lights up, right? It's not plugged into anything. It's completely open. It's not plugged into anything. Okay, it has no look. If anybody wants to see, just in case
Huh.
they're doubting, like it's not plugged into anything. Okay,
Right.
so it's
Right.
completely
Right.
open. It doesn't have any batteries. Okay,
Hmm.
it does. The
Hmm.
only thing it has is little two wires inside of it,
All
right?
right.
And
All right.
it's literally lighting up because I touch it or I don't,
Wow.
right?
All right.
So when you look at like any place I have a nerve and I touch it with a nerve,
Hmm.
right,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's gonna
Hmm.
light up. Okay, if I touch it anywhere there's no nerve, like I'm touching it on my earlobe right now, it's not lighting up. Okay, see this?
Right.
It's not
Right. Right.
lighting up.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Right. Right.
so
Right.
basically, this proves that energy exists. Like most people, what they don't know, your energetic centers in your body, like human beings, operate at between 3 to 8, or 6 to 8, hertz, if you will. So, like when you look at measurements of when you go in the hospital, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
what the doctors are measuring is how many
Hmm.
times per
Hmm. Hmm.
second your heart is really beating, right?
Hmm.
If your
Hmm.
heart
Hmm.
is not beating, so what they're measuring is your energy actually. When they do a shock, right, what they're giving you is energy, and if you don't
True.
have that, then you don't come back
True.
basically. So but
Ash, this is the live. It's actually very very interesting because to watch this live and this demonstration that you did, it definitely proves that we all have energy, and yes, the chakras have been a pretty ancient thing for us Indians. At least it has been a pretty ancient thing. Now my question to you is, when you said that this is, I understand that it is part of our body, and the energy is there inside our body, and that is something which is much believable. But what I find a little unbelievable is when you are saying that it is even outside our body. So when you are saying that even in the businesses that we are doing, there are chakras, or you know
absolutely.
in any other work that we are doing, there are chakras. So I would like you to, elaborate a little more on that, or maybe if you have any interesting anecdote to even prove that how a business. Suppose if I'm doing a business, I am in a business of mine. I would like to attract a lot of financial abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not asking you to give away your secret. Don't worry about that. But what I am trying to understand here is, how do I know that my business also has chakras, and therefore what you're suggesting is to align my chakras with that chakras, right? Then only that lightning will happen. I
Mm-hmm.
have an energy and the business will have an energy, and then this transfer of energy will happen. But
Yep.
how do I know, or how does my business prove to me that it has that energy?
So in a business world, when you take a look at so I'll ask you a question, Prita, right? Like, have you been in a since you do sales coaching, right?
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So and with me this happened with me. Okay, so also, so I'll be able to relate with this.
Yeah, yeah.
So in business, like, have you ever had a sales conversation that was actually perfect?
Yes, of course I've had. Yes.
You've had
I
that,
mean,
right? Okay.
yeah, by perfect, if you mean that, was I able to drive the entire conversation towards a closure, then yes, of course that has happened.
Yes, of course. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you take a look at that conversation, right? If you go back to the conversation, okay,
Right.
and if you take a look at the alignment between you,
Uh-huh.
the person you were talking to, and the
Right.
product you were offering, right? It was
Right.
actually a perfect alignment, perfect fit,
True.
right? So with the
True.
financial chakras formula, like a lot of times what you find, and I'm sure you've had conversation where it just wasn't aligned. No matter what you did,
You're
it just wasn't coming together, right? So
right.
as a business owner, we cannot waste time with things that don't work for us. We just, it costs us money.
Right.
Agreed? So every time you have a wrong conversation, it's costing you money. The
Okay.
question is, how much money is it
Right.
costing you? That's the
Mm.
real question, right? So even in life, every time is money, right? So I'll
Mm.
give you and so from a perspective of when a conversation is not in alignment, right?
Mm.
The feeling, you will know energetically that it's not going the right way. You know that, and I know
Mm.
that. Like, I used to prospect all the time, and I was learning from some of the biggest gurus, in the world. Initially, I'm talking like 1994 when I was
Mm.
21.
Mm. Mm.
And when I started the game, I would go on appointments after appointments after appointments, Pritha, and I had to blackmail my dad through my mom to get my first sale. So, so there was really no alignment. There was just blackmailing. Okay, so there was no
All
such a
right.
thing as alignment back then.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I couldn't close, you know.
Right.
So I was desperate, So my dad kept on bugging me, but so I said, Dad, why don't you just buy the policy? And he wouldn't buy it. So I said, so that's an example of not being in alignment, just so you know. you know
I
but
understand.
but being in alignment, like when your business is in alignment, right? You'll feel the force. You
Okay.
literally will feel the force as it's literally taking off, right? You will,
Mm-hmm.
like right
Mm.
now with financial chakras, I'm launching it, and the site is coming out sometime this week. We'll launch the site, and there's just so much happening right now, right? So as I'm understanding, like as know what the rule is, right? So the rule, what I find is that when you are in alignment, when your business is in alignment, right,
Mm.
you will feel this energetic sense. You will
Mm.
know that you are
Mm.
in a place, like intuitively you'll know. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
your business has energetic centers. I promise you, they have same seven chakras as you do. Okay, it
Okay.
has same energetic sense as you do. The
Okay.
question is, what is the rule that can help you get to the end game faster?
All right.
So
Oh.
what I find, like when I do consulting work, I'm talking to a client. Literally, I was talking to them right before this call,
Mm.
and this older lady, I'm beginning to help her. I was talking to her, and I could clearly tell that she's very creative, by nature. So she's from chakras, right? She's very active in the Swadhisthana chakra, and she's
Okay.
very active in the Anhata chakra. But
Mm.
the problem that I was finding is that her Anja chakra is not, really built, like she doesn't have the ability to put it together in the right way, right? So
All
her
right.
struggle keeps on increasing. She can't communicate her message. Her,
Okay.
Visuddha chakra is also a little bit of a problem, right? So
All
as I was
right.
talking to her, literally in 1 hour we put it together, and now
Okay.
she's beginning to see a positive results. Like
Oh.
I did this with somebody actually in India, and they were
Mm-hmm.
investing money in rupees, and they're like, every month I invest, I go down, I lose money, and I don't know
Mm.
what's happening. So what was
Mm.
happening was the financial instrument wasn't, energetically wasn't built for him. It wasn't built for his primary chakras, like the way he is. Because
Okay.
what I find, if product and services are built for specific type of person or specific, energetic centers, and if
Mm.
that's not matched, you will lose, right? So with him, that's what was happening. First month we worked together, we went up in profits by almost 30,000 rupees. And from
Okay.
second month, we had to fix a few more things. We tighten up the belt a little bit. Right now he makes profits every day, and he has complete peace of mind. So
Awesome.
that's what it does, right?
Awesome.
So, but that's a clear example of, like, how chakras exist, and I can go into more demonstrations, but for the sake of
Yeah,
time
yeah,
today,
I
you know
understand. I understand. I understand. I think you have quite a lot of these anecdotes as evidences to kind of go ahead and prove about the point that you are trying to make on the financial chakras aspect. What I am what I am picking up here is that what basically trying to say. So if I just have to kind of say it out loud for my own understanding, you are saying that our financial chakras decide the kind of business that we will be very good at. Now, for some reason, if we have got into a business or a work that is not aligned with my financial chakras or my chakras, or maybe one of the chakras is weak for me, which is therefore causing the trouble in that kind of business, you are suggesting that there could be a remedy rather than just saying goodbye to that business. I can find a remedy and align my chakras in a way that allows me to get success in that business. Is that right, my
Yes,
understanding?
absolutely. So there is definitely a remedy when you
Hmm.
apply the formulas that I have built in financial chakras, right? And when you
Mm-hmm.
apply in a specific order, they have to go in specific order. What I have
Correct.
found is every other order fails.
Right.
Every other order fails, no matter what it is. So you cannot just randomly apply your kind
Hmm.
of your own order.
Right.
And one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to do some voodoo or anything, but I will teach you real life practical way of doing things, because I'm
Uh,
a practical guy and I have a holistic picture behind me. So it's a
yeah.
very much a good balance, right? So the
Hmm.
point is to make a good balance, right, between your practical and your holistic life. But more
Yeah.
importantly, when you apply the financial chakras formula, and you are
Hmm.
right, Pritha, is that you are able to create a good balance and go forward much further, much faster. Like what I found is that one of the things I talk about in my book that's going to come out in about 30 to 60 days, financial
Hmm.
chakras. Now, in this book, what we talk about is one of the things I've talked about is how do you measure your potential in dollars, and how do you
Okay.
measure your emotions in dollars.
Okay.
See, people say time is money. The question is how much money.
Hmm.
See, if you understood that your time is worth X, right, in reality, then you
Hmm.
would spend your time wisely,
Right. You are right.
right? So if
Absolutely.
the time is time is a constant, right? What makes or break you is your emotions,
True. True.
right? So
True.
if you figured out how much your emotions are costing you, or if you take a
Hmm.
look at like a lot of sadhus and a lot of what they have is that they're for what do you call this their anja chakra, or you can say like their frontal lobe, right, is
Uh-huh.
like they have really activated this top part of their region, right, the seventh chakra. They have really have activated that really well. So
Hmm.
if you figured out how to do that in a practical world, it's a game changer. It's a
Okay.
complete, you can have the abundance that you always dreamed about. And
Hmm.
that's what I'm trying to say here is that, and you're right about also that when you apply it in the right way, you can get to
Hmm.
your success at a much faster pace. So if you're stuck in a business and you just can't
Hmm.
seem to figure it out, then you apply the formula and you get to your result as easy as like 1 2 3. Is that simple?
Fantastic.
See,
Fantastic.
I found in life success is simple.
Huh.
The
Okay.
solution to success is always very simple,
All right.
but people make it complicated.
That you've put it very simply. In fact, you put it in a very, very simple way that the solution to the success is simple. Probably where people struggle is, I think, the way to implement those solutions. People feel that the entire struggle happens in implementing those solutions. Now, before I come to my last question to you, I would request all the viewers, if you are watching it right now, and Ash is a very, very interesting speaker, and I'm sure you all are having a lot of fun listening to him. At the same time, he is sharing a, a very few very, very interesting aspects about how we can make ourselves a success. So if you have questions for him, please do write in the comment section if you have any question that you would like Ash to answer. Now, while they think on a question and then they respond to it, My question to you, Ash, is that out of the seven chakras, is there any particular chakra which is like more important or the most important that we should be bothered about, and we should probably do something to keep that chakra active and vibrant or something like that?
Yeah, so if you go to like any healer, right, or anybody who talks about energies and as I have studied, and as I am, actually right now I'm taking a course on Kundalini, and I'm taking courses on other things as well, as I'm
Mhm.
advancing my knowledge about this world.
Hmm.
So because I mean, sometimes I look at it like my grandfather is looking down on me and say, he passed away 2 years ago, and
Oh,
he was so active. And so what one of the things that we talked about was Muladhara chakra. He we I really was hit hard when I
okay,
was hit. I was emotionally hit because I couldn't believe that, I couldn't believe that that could happen actually.
okay,
I
okay,
lost about $250,000, which is a lot of money. you know
okay,
wasn't a
okay.
small number by any means. Coming here with nothing, and I was
Um,
saving for my daughter, for her college.
all right.
And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I had lost a lot of money. Thankfully I was okay. But
Mhm.
no matter how you look at it, what I was really hurt with was emotional hurt, right?
Um,
So Muladhara chakra, I had to work quite a bit on, and I would say like that was the biggest thing, because it got me into a situation where I
mm,
was, because Muladhara chakra, like your fear, is where that's where it stays, right? Fear,
mm,
anxiety, uncertainty, those things stay in your Muladhara chakra, and
okay.
that is the hardest thing to work on. And your Kundalini actually, when you are awakened, when people are awakened, and it actually it moves up, right? It moves up. And the hardest part is when that is hurt, you are literally paralyzed to some degree. You're
Wow.
paralyzed, and that's the hardest thing to work on. The easiest thing to work on, as a bonus, since you didn't ask me this question, but as a bonus, okay,
Huh.
the easiest thing to work on is actually your Anja chakra. you know when people start, that's why when you start meditating, they say that the white light is coming down from your seventh chakra.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so the seventh chakra is like godly state, right? That's very difficult to reach.
Mm-hmm.
But the anja chakra is the first um, chakra. That's why, like, a lot of people who meditate and things like, they when they feel like they're feeling some difference, right? So initially, as human beings, we begin to feel difference because our mind is really in a calm state. And there's do you mind if I share a story about
Please. Oh,
something?
please carry on.
Okay.
Please carry on. Please
So
carry on.
in India में हम करते हैं माला वगैरह, like we do that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the question is, what is the importance of mala, right? If you just when you take a look at it from a simplistic perspective, if you cannot steal your mind, because it's difficult to steal your mind. I have a hard time. Heck, I mean, I'm like sometimes so excited, like, I'm just going all day
I
long.
know.
But
I know. I know.
that's us, right? So to calm your mind, Pritha, one of the things some people can do, that their entire all their chakras, right? The simplest thing they can do. Our rishis and our religion has given us a gift, and the gift is mala. And what most people don't realize is that when we are ingrained, it is ingrained in us in many ways. But the question
Mm-hmm.
is why? Why mala? Why
Mm,
not? Why didn't our parents say, well, sit down over there and try to focus, right?
mm,
Sit down
mm,
over there. And why didn't they say that? Why do arti, like in a fashion, right?
mhm,
But
mhm,
why do mala? What's the purpose of it? That was the question I had to. I mean, this was my discovery. Okay, so
uh-huh,
what I found was, and every story I tell I'm very biased, and I always tell stories from India. Like, every story I tell is from India. It's not from any other person. So so from that perspective, I always say, like, there was a guy in India. He was born. He says, I want to have money, and
mm,
he had a family and things like that, and he was born in a poor circumstances. So one day
mhm,
he found a lamp, and he rubbed a lamp, and genie appeared. And genie said, sir, you are my master. You have to
mhm,
ask me for something, and I have to give it to you. And the
mm,
condition is you have to keep asking me. So he said, no problem. So he asked for the for the car and the house and the good family life and all this. And genie just kept saying, go, okay, no problem, no problem. Eventually he asked for the universe, so genie also got him the universe. So genie is like, master, what else do you want to ask? He's like, I have nothing to ask you anymore, genie. There's nothing to ask for. I have everything.
Hmm.
Genie is like, no, 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 you have to ask me for more. You have to ask me for more, because this is your base. You have to, this is the condition, right?
Okay.
Otherwise I'll take everything back. So the guy
Okay.
goes to Rishi in Himalayan mountain, and he asks this Rishi, and he says, there's this guy, this genie outside, you know and he's asking for more things, but I cannot ask him for more things because I have everything. So
Hmm.
the Rishi says, take a 108-foot bamboo pole, stick it under the ground, and take another 108-foot bamboo pole and stick it above ground. And your next wish is to ask that genie to go up and down that bamboo pole. And he says, okay, I could do that. So he goes outside and asks the genie to do that. The question is, what's genie? So those of you who know the answer, go ahead and write it down in the comment section. And before I end, I'll tell you what genie is and why that's so important. But so the interesting part about this is that as we are talking, right, energies are flowing up and down, right? Energies, and that's not your genie, I promise you, if you're thinking that. That's not but energies are flowing up and down, and making it still makes it takes time, it takes effort, right? So but that's what I would suggest is work on Muladhara chakra and start with the Anja chakra first. Start with the small things. Like, people want to accomplish unbelievable things. Like, you cannot accomplish unbelievable things if I cannot get up out of this chair. Then I have to first learn how to get up out of this chair. So
True.
the
True.
first thing is, make sure you focus on your Anja chakra, and take it from there. Okay. And
Fabulous.
those are
Fabulous.
anybody who
No,
makes a
I think
comment.
I think people are also not aware of the answer, Yash. So I believe you have to give the answer. Who is the
Okay,
key?
fine. So the
Yeah.
genie is actually your mind. So it is the most difficult to still. So our ancestors told us to do mala, and when you do, it's proven that when you do two malas, you begin to. It's like putting your car in a neutral. When you
Okay.
do two malas, you are putting your car in a neutral state. When you do
Okay.
five malas and then you ask for something, if you want to acquire abundance, the fastest way to do five malas a day, as simple and as ridiculous that it sounds, right? It is. It's been proven to me, and it's surprisingly over and over and over again, that how fast you begin to think clearly when you do that little exercise. So if somebody's just looking to calm down and just trying to work on some stuff, start there. It's not end all be all answer, but it's a good start, is what I would say.
Great. Great. Thank you so much, Ash. This was a very, very interesting talk that I had with you, and to all the viewers who are watching this. Ash presented a few very simple aspects of life, yet probably a little difficult to achieve. But it begins from understanding ourselves, and it is all about controlling our seven chakras. We have these seven chakras, and what he very beautifully explained through different anecdotes and examples is that we have these seven chakras that we have within us is an energy, and this is capable of transforming everything around us if we can work on controlling these seven chakras. And of course, the most difficult one of those chakras is the you said the name
Muladhara.
was Muladhara. I think,
Muladhara.
yeah.
It's
So
the base
that
chakra, first chakra.
first chakra, I think what it means is the emotions, right? If you're talking
So
about the
first,
emotions.
Muladhara chakra is your base. Mul means main base.
Right,
That's
right.
usually the weakest point for most people. It's
Absolutely,
hardest to work.
absolutely. And I think yes, you are right, because this is where our entire struggle happens. The aspect of feeling angry, the aspect of getting stressed, like a situation like this in a COVID, when we are we are forced into a state which we did not want in the at the very first place. Now, the aspect here is that what do we do about it? And the situation is not in our control, but how we deal with the situation is probably will decide how fast we are moving towards success. And this is where I think the entire aspect of these controlling or working on these seven chakras mean. As as I would like to end this with the quote that Ash just said, that the we think that it is a difficult problem, or success is difficult. um, Success is in fact is not that difficult, because the solution towards the success is very, very simple. It is just that we make it complicated in our mind. So it was great talking with you, Ash, and thank you all for watching this live and participating with us on this talk show. I will see you all again in the next episode. Till then, take care and stay safe.
Thank you, guys.